Welcome back to Das Lab, where today we are working on trying to fix some of these salt and pepper shakers. My wife got these in France a number of years ago, and we've been having intermittent problems. That's beautiful. That one works nice with the switches, and these things have been to hell and back, but the switches don't switch when they should. And we're going to take a look and see if we can figure out what is going on with them. Quite often guests would come over, they'd pick these up, and they would think it's a turning type of pepper mill, and wasn't the case. So they have been damaged, and I've had to go through and put some screws in there to help keep them together. They're pretty complicated little things, but we're going to just take a look and see if we can figure out what is the problem with this switch. And we're at the point now where she's actually bought new ones, not as fancy and not as French as these ones perhaps, but so I've been given carte blanche to do whatever it takes to make them work, and if that even includes putting a new switch in, well, then so be it. Who knows, maybe these get downgraded to the Das Lab if they look ugly when we're done. So the way it works is that sleeve comes off. There's a spring-loaded switch button in there, and I used to think that perhaps that was the main reason, but that's pushing in on this contact here, and for some reason we're not getting good contact in there. So I've never really tried taking this apart. I've tried modifying that a bit. And I think what we're going to do today is just trying to get in there and clean that up somehow. So just to show you, the power supply is up there. Basically that's the motor. So that's it. Okay, that seems to be working good. That's how it was last time I dealt with it. And there's two little connectors on here that go down, and there's, believe it or not, there's actually a light down here. So that's what those connectors are for there too. I wonder if that had something to do with it. Why is it? Works good now. I'm gonna make a mess here. That works good. Well, you know what? There could have been a piece of pepper or something in there. Who knows? This always happens. I come down for about 2 minutes and I try it and I bring it back upstairs and said that it works. We have supper once, it works great, and then it never works after that, and it goes months between then and when it comes back down into the Das Lab. So, it's got good spring action there. I bet you there was something caught in there. So there's the case where sometimes if it's not aligned properly. So what I am going to do, it's sealed. I don't see a way of getting these batteries out easily. There's no screws here to start taking this apart and get in there to those contacts. It looks like it's glued together. I would have expected somewhere for there to be some sort of a screw, but I don't want to start prying it apart. I think it's glued. There's the big DC motor and the electrical contact in there. So what are we going to do? We're going to clean up the battery contacts, and we're going to de-aux the switch in there. I think that's our plan. Okay, let me get some more chemicals. Okay, so I've got my burnisher and my deoxit, not sponsored by me, but recommended by my friend from the west coast of Ontario, Diego, and I was just reading it. I wouldn't recommend eating it, but considering that this is around a food, it's for pepper. You know, when that's fresh, ground pepper is wonderful. You know, you only need a little bit, and you can smell it as it's grinding. It does add to your food, but we don't want to put any of this chemical in there. So we're going to go at it gently and make sure that we don't put more than we need to, and we're going to clean it off after. And I'm just trying to make sure I get good contact on all my battery surfaces. And I can see a little bit of corrosion in there. So I'm just picking up some of that deoxit, making sure that my battery connections are all solid and good. They don't look too bad, really. And then I am going to send a transfer. A lot came out there, so I'm just going to put a bit on here. I keep going to grab this and squeeze in there. Isn't that weird? It's actually up here. A little bit on there. The corrosion wasn't too bad. It's a nice thing about a device like this, like when you use it on a regular basis, you know when the battery's dead. It's not one of those things that sits there for a year in the closet and then one day you go to use it and the batteries are all tarnished on there. So, and the only other place is these two little connectors that are used for energizing the light. Make sure that they're good. And take a little bit here. And I'll make sure that the connectors for the LED light are good. Now, the crucial part is the switch. So I don't want to distort it too much. I'm going to pry it open a little bit and give it a little bit of a flush and a wipe. So this deoxit is new to me. I've tried it. It's cleaned up a lot of contacts in the short term. I don't know how it lasts in the long term. I mean, I've seen people spray down things with WD-40 and alcohol, and that cleans it, but does it stay clean and lubricated? So whether it's going to pass the test of time, that's to be seen, right? Work in the long run. So, plopping in our power supply. No odor to that, which is good. I don't detect any sort of odor to that. You know, like you wouldn't want a WD-40 sort of smell. That's for sure. And pretty straightforward. And again in here, well aligned, minimal pressure. At least now I can show my wife the video. See, and look, it worked. It worked on the bench. Oh yeah? Aha. A little more difficult now that it's on the pepper mill. Why is that? Maybe the batteries are getting weak and it needs more torque. Most people grab it like that. Yes, you got to push pretty hard on that. And that's part of the problem. Let me take a look. So what I'm finding is that the push button in here, two things. The way I've got all these support screws screwed in, it's slightly malaligned. And the way that I have gone in the past to try to fix this up, it I don't know what's going on with the profile there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this up with a bit of solder. I'm going to make a little bit more of a proud button for it to push on. And because I can't get in there to really look at what's going on in there. I know that there's some electrical contact in there. So that hopefully when you push on this, I can't do much with the plastic in there. But hopefully when I push on that, I've got a bigger area to act on. Yeah, we'll see. We'll try putting a bit of solder on there, seeing how that works. I'm going to clean that off a little bit first. I don't know if solder is going to stick to that. I'm hoping it will. And I would like to keep that from rolling around somehow. What do I got? Clamps. Try this. That kind of holds it. And I'm going to go with a little bit of flux and a little bit of, that doesn't smell too good, a little dry sponge hack. And we'll see with my biggest tip on here if I can't just build up some of the surface on here. Oh yeah, perfect. Just like that. Uh-oh. What have I done? Well, now that's a hair trigger. I have done something. I'm not sure what it is, but I did something. Well, not quite a hair trigger, but I did something. I did something. I'm not sure what I did. All I know is I smell pepper everywhere. Oh, wow, is that ever nice? There. That's fixed. Wow, the flux, you know, really does help. I didn't think it would stick that nice to it. Okay, I am going to clean that up a little bit more because, again, we're around the food. It's not just some sort of outdoor security alarm system. People be eating around this thing. I just know what's going to happen right now. We're going to be sitting there in the middle of the night, and this thing's going to start grinding pepper all by itself. Well, I could not be happier about that. Oh my goodness. Who knew? Okay. Soldering machine off. Unless I burn my house down or something like that. I like little jobs like this. I have worked on these over the time that I've been together with this current wife, my last wife. Oh, I bet you I've spent 6 or 7 hours of my life working on these salt and pepper shakers. Maybe 10. Could have I gone out and bought some new ones? Sure. Can I go to France to buy some? Not easily. We'll get back there someday. This is gentle plastic. You can put a lot of torque on a screw with a screwdriver. Don't over torque it. I like it. Pepper. And when you were in the washroom, I went and did the salt. I actually, the salt used to come out. The salt came out rather coarse, and I went in and I bent this to keep the grinding arbor pushed closer to the mill, the milling part, like the outer housing. You can see here how it turns. Okay, so it's serrated. It's got teeth on it, and there's teeth on the inner part, and the salt gets caught in the cone and it gets ground there. That was this outer part was rather loose, so it would make coarse salt. And now, fine salt. And that one's just a hair trigger too. Basically. Very easy and very easy. I'm happy. Why? Because A, it's fixed, and I think it's going to stay fixed. So, if you like this sort of stuff, don't hesitate to subscribe. I've got all kinds of weird things going on, and we're always happy to have you here in the lab to just hang out with us at the DAS Lab. That's all I got for you today. Keep it real, be safe, have fun, and don't get any on ya.